patience, coach, and thank you for your patience, coach. I know we're scheduled to start at 2:30, and you still have other preparations to work on. Welcome to the preview press conference for the Kaizer Chiefs match. Firstly, if you can just take us through your preparations for this match, with 2 days to go towards the match.
Yeah, preparations was we're still going to proceed. Let's say basically we arrived yesterday at 3 o'clock in the morning. We had a wonderful trip, very easy. After a wonderful stay also in Polokwane, where we profit from some time that we were together in the camp. It's always good to have a right ambience to be with the lads and also prepare the matches in the best way. After that, the focus is obviously, or has been today, on the recovery. And most of the players, they stayed at home to rest. Because as you might imagine, when you arrive at 3 o'clock, the most important thing is to release the players, to leave them get the energy they need, the support of their families, of the beloved ones. Obviously, there was a group of players that trained today and very well. So myself, early in the morning, I was already here, and tomorrow we'll join for that training session that I told you. That some of you joked a little bit that I was being pretentious, saying that I prepared a match in 20 minutes, but yeah, tomorrow is the 20 minutes training session, because there's no chances to do much more than that. So 20 minutes of tactical work, and the rest obviously is some warm-up and prepare the boys for the level they need to then have on the session. And today, as you might imagine, a hard day's night, like the music says, because there's a lot of work to be able tomorrow in 20 minutes to condense all the information, prepare then the videos for the meetings we will have throughout the day and on the day of the match. And even the day of the match is clear. It will be, the match is at 3:30, so not a lot of time. And we will try to cope with all these variants in order to naturally create our strategical approach on the match, so that we can be as strong as possible to put ourselves in the level needed to win the match, of course.
Thank you, coach. Please remember to introduce yourself. We'll start on the right here.
Coach, with me this time. This is your first time you're facing Chiefs, if I'm not mistaken. What is your understanding of the fixture, of who you're facing, the team you're facing, the history of the fixture? It's not a derby, so to say, but there is a strong rivalry between these two teams.
I totally understand the rivalry. Thank God that I'm used to this kind of matches and excited for another one. So playing derbies or classic matches, classicals like we say in Europe, is obviously wonderful. They bring extra, not tension, but extra excitement, let's say. They bring extra concentration also on the players, extra delivery, let's even say that like that. It's like playing a Champions League match. There's always a natural, but no extra pressure, because basically in the end it's 3 points. The last 3 points in Sekokuni was as important as the previous one with Galaxy, as the previous ones with Marumo, or a cup match, Nedbank Cup with whatever. It's next match, and the next match is obviously the most important match of our lives. This is how we've been living. Regarding the organization of the calendar, obviously I could speak a lot. It's not normal. In Europe it would be forbidden to play a match in less than 72 hours. We're going to play in 68. This is obviously not normal and not really acceptable for my personal part. But we'll cope with it, I'm sure. We'll cope with it and we'll be prepared for it. That's what we've been doing for a long time, and these players, they also are used to have a lot of demands, so we'll try to, and we will for sure be on the level for such a game where the expectative is more from the outside rather from the inside, because for these players, they play them so many times, and myself, I played also other kind of matches like this. it's basically the same, because really believe when the match starts, no one inside the 4 lines even notices what is around. I told that already sometimes. Maybe the place where I would like to have more memories is Camp Nou. I played against Barcelona in the times where Messi and Luis Suarez were there, and I don't remember even the stadium, because I'm a late coach on the pitch. I don't go on the pitch before the match starts, so I just arrive for the match. I make my job, I get out. So basically it's a job for us, you know. There's a lot of ambience around, for people around, for the fans, for yourselves, press, maybe even for the management of the clubs that have to deal with these different kind of challenges, for the security, for the PSL. But for us, it's a job, you know. We go there, we have to prepare a match like the other ones. It's a strong team on the other side, like the ones we played before. Different characteristics that we need to take care of. We need to analyze our context. What is the context? Which other players in better condition? How should we approach tactically or strategically the match, respecting what we believe that will be put by the coach Nabi. That, by the way, I crossed the other day, and it was very nice. And then approach the game and play the game as a normal way. Yeah. One thing is clear on this championship. Whatever you might say about the results that we've been getting, it's every match is quite challenging. Every match is quite challenging by the way the teams play. So it's another one. It's another one. It's how we see it. I just hope, and I leave already one word, because there was security issues spoken here. I just hope that the spirit I've been seeing on the stadiums around South Africa until now, that we can see them on the next match, like we saw in the match against Pirates, where both sides of fans, let's say, were cheering with the spectacle, with the game, because the game is also a spectacle where people go to have emotions, to live a good moment. So let's hope we can live it all together. In terms of what is outside of the 4 lines, and let the best team win, and let's hope obviously that Mamelodi Sundowns is the best team on the pitch.
Coach, on this side, any questions?
From Sports. Coach, since you started, you've been improving in terms of the margins that you've been scoring. I mean, 4 and all of that, but when you started it was just the 1-0 here, 1-0 there, you started collecting those points. Does this mean now that the synergy between yourself as a technical team and players is getting to the understanding, and everybody is getting a chance to score, from the defender to the midfielder and the striker? What is it that you've gotten right as the technical team and the players?
Well, I think football has momentums, and different ones that appear throughout the season. Obviously, that when you are in good momentums, you want to make them as long as possible, and when they are in the opposite, you want to break them as quick as possible. Obviously, that we work from the very beginning in the understanding of several principles we wanted for the team. If you ask me if I'm happy regarding some of the things I see, I'm not happy. But it has nothing to do with the numbers, it has to do with behaviors, because we don't work with numbers, coaches, we work with behaviors. So what we always do is, yesterday on the bus I saw all the game, so I started working immediately on the next one on the way home. All the way I was watching and preparing the training session, so I worked during 3 hours on the bus until 3 o'clock in the morning. And obviously when the match finishes, I look at the match and I say that there are things that I need to speak about. And believe me, the last match had a lot of discussion on how to prepare the match with TX Galaxy. And it's normal that. So what is the outcome? We don't relate to it. It's just accept it and go. As I said yesterday after the match, when on the press conferences, was that for us and for myself, it's always important that we score 1 more than the opponent. 1-0 for me is perfect. 2-0 is perfect. 2-1 is still good. When you suffer more than 1 goal, I usually don't like it. It means there's something you need to correct. But yesterday was a different story, because the goals came from 2 mistakes, especially the second one. That can only happen when you are extra confident, and that is also respect you should have, and that's also when the coach needs to make corrections. Say, guys, attention, because this is at halftime. I remember the match with TS Galaxy. At halftime, I told them, please respect football, boys. Respect football. 3-1 is not enough. Because if you suffer a goal, I want to see yourselves leading with the emotions of a 3-2. And so respect, enter strong, make the fourth. That's what I asked them, and they did it. And yesterday we had a similar approach on the need of concentration. So it's not really important how much you score. It's important that you win, and that you win with certainty about the behaviors you want the team to have in order to proceed in the right way. Obviously, if you win with more goals, it's always good, but it's not how we relate with the games.
Thank you. Eric, please just talk to the guys at the past the outside. Thank you. Any questions for me at level? Then we'll go that side to
Good evening, good afternoon, Coach. You just spoke about your experience out that when you managed in Spain. I think that's with Celta Vigo. For you personally, having worked with these players, I think just under 3 months now, how would you rate these players technically? Where are they? What do you see? Because you've worked with them. I think you've got one of the most beautiful footballers in this country in regards to talent. But technically, how would you rate these players?
Oof. Now you're making me a hard question. I will tell you that we have players that could play in Europe, I think. It's the easiest way to answer you. Just need to understand, you spoke about Spain. Spain, the level is very high. Spain, the level is very, 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 very high. So, but I believe we have players that could play in Europe. I believe that we have players that could play in Celta Vigo, as you stated, the team, I believe. But the level here is also very high. And the good that we have is that the ambition here is very high also. And that takes you to the next level and should take us for the next level always. So the level of demand we put in ourselves is so high that eventually when you cope with that, you get better. And that is beautiful because the players accept that and they cope with that and they live with that and they express it. And that has been basically one of the biggest challenges and excitements about my job. I come to work every day with a big enthusiasm because I know that I come to work with players that I will tell them, let's try to do this, let's cope with this, and they want to try to do it. And they will work hard to do it. And this is what allows you to progress, is what allows you to go further. But at the same time, we always need to balance the moments, not to make the players believe that they are more than the other ones, because we are not. When we distract ourselves, we can be like any other team, because the teams here are very, very, very competitive. It's not the way they play, because if you will ask me if I like how the teams play, I don't like them. In general, I don't like. But they compete very well. And this is honesty. This is acceptable. And I respect a lot the teams that compete very well. So when we go to play whatever match it is, respect the opponent, because they will compete hard. And yesterday it was clear that they competed even when it was 4-2, they fight it until the last minute. And for a coach, you need always to be aware of that and not relax, so that the players don't relax for sure. And so football here is interesting because of that, because teams are very honest in the way they want to show themselves. And playing Sundowns also gives them extra energy, because then we see other matches and the things are not exactly like that. So it's sometimes very difficult to analyze the opponents, because I will not refer, but we analyze a match between two teams, and then we show to the players some images, and I always have to tell them, but look how the other team is playing. It's not how we play. So what do we expect to happen? We need to make this effort sometimes. And of course, then go to try to see the games with the strongest teams. That's also important. But very, very, very interesting to see how the teams are ambitious in the way they approach the games. And that is good, of course. That is very good for the development of football in South Africa and the players.
Thank you, Coach. Katlego and Ramara.
Coach, how are you? Katlego here from The Citizen. Coach, do you accept the favorites tag and the pressure that comes with having to be the one that takes the initiative from the start, despite this being a big game? And also, this break that Chiefs have had, do you read anything into it? And is Ronwen back?
So let's try to see if I understood the three questions. First of all, if I would take my position, and don't understand it as lack of ambition, because in me there's no lack of ambition ever, but if I would take the point of favorite on this match, I would basically eventually trying to pass to my players the energy that they don't need. I don't accept that. There's no favorites when the whistle starts. Go there and show whatever you have to show. And in the end, that's when you say you were favorite, not before. That doesn't exist. So right attitude from the very beginning, because then if you go sleeping, I always say 100% fantastic, you can win everything. 99% you can lose everything. So that 1%, I don't allow the players to lose. If I allow, it will give me such discomfort on myself that that's why sometimes I get even emotionally stable, but in tension, because I need always to have my players in their limit. But without pressure, just letting them understand by themselves how they need to be in a regular basis. And that's what has been happening. Regarding second one was the pause for Chiefs. I don't know what they did during this period. So I cannot say if it was good or bad. For sure, what I know, I understood the question, I'll go there. What I know is that for sure, the coach, as a level coach that he is, he worked hard to develop his team. He knows what he has ahead, he knows the responsibility of his club, he's a very clever man, he's someone that also has a big quality as a coach. For sure, he worked hard to develop his team. And then in the last days of this period, he worried about us. Before, he just worried about himself, getting better and better and better. And then strategical approach, that's all what he did. Regarding your third question about Rowan, let's see. We have expectations that he can come, but we don't stress because of that. Because Rowan will come for sure pretty soon. I don't know for already this match or the next one or the other one, because he's still under analysis. Or analysis, no, assessment. Analysis is another thing. And I spoke with him in the morning, but we don't stress. I'm pretty comfortable with the situation I have in the moment. So let's see what will happen in the next days, or tomorrow, let's say, because tomorrow we'll speak.
Good afternoon, Coach. We're from Newsroom Africa. Maybe just also in extension to my colleague's question here. I think the umbrella part of it is, you've touched on it, and I think yesterday as well, it's just on how the scheduling has been. You do mention that, I mean, Sundowns is definitely a capable team to be able to handle this period, but for you coming in and the demand that it has brought in for your team and yourself, and I guess the reference was on going against a team that, of course, has had a sort of longer break. But also the second part of it is, I mean, we speak to Orlando Pirates coach who would have also wished in this period that in the race to the title, you would have played the similar amounts of games as well. I just wanted to also get the second part of it, your thoughts on that, if you wish, on the scheduling part. You would have sort of had equal number of games with the person that you're sort of competing with to the title race.
I think your question is already a statement. It's not a question, it's a statement that I totally subscribe. It would be normal that teams would play the same days, or one day after, one day before, but with a similar schedule, obviously. It's never possible for the teams to play exactly the same days, because there's TV management of the fact that the TV rights, let's say, there's management of dates, there's management of security issues, there's management of availability also of stadiums. So there's always conditioning on the dates. But it would be normal to have as much as possible a similar calendar. But also Chiefs has no responsibility that it's not Eros, it's the team that is not competing now. Royal AM, sorry, with all respect. They have no responsibility for the situation, so it happened like that. They will do the job, we'll do our job in the best way. We have to cope with the context. That's always I don't look back and I can speak about it, but I have to cope with the context. The context is this one. Let's go for it with as strong as we can.
You've already played 19 games, and listening to most fans, already they are tipping Sundowns to go on and win their 8th league title. I just want to get your take with regards to that. You think?
My word to our fans is, please fill our stadium every match. if they want us to win, full our stadium every match, because we need them. We need to fill the stadiums. And the ones that are present, they have been fantastic, but we have many more at home that I would like to have on the stadiums every day. Please, a word for our fans. Help us to be stronger. Come on the matches, fill our stadiums, make them full, bring the joy, bring the energy, because that's how we're gonna win the next match and the next one and the next one. And everybody thinking always and only on the next match, because football is next match.
Thank you, Coach.
Coach Mazola Malefe from SABC Sport. I wanted to ask about obviously having this type of attack that you have and facing a team that has struggled to keep clean sheets. What sort of game do you then anticipate? Because Coach Nabi is attack-minded, but because now he's coming up against a team that's free scoring like yours, do you think it changes his thinking, his approach coming up against Sundowns?
No, he will not change nothing on his general approach on the game. He can strategically, obviously, adapt certain principles like ourselves can adapt. He's not any kid that is coaching on football for the first time. I have a big respect for him. And he knows what he's doing, and he wants to develop his team. That's what he wants, because he's preparing also the future of the club and of the team. So we expect, obviously, these games also have a different context. What I mean in a different context is that these games bring something different. They highlight the best of the teams. They highlight most of the times the best of the players. That's why there's always some excitement on these teams. But most of the times, these kind of games are not the best ones, or the best technically well-played matches. So sometimes they are, but not in Portugal. Not usually. When you see a Benfica Sporting or a Porto Benfica or a Sporting Porto, usually the matches can be more narrow, more closed, more aggressive, more not so well played. If we go for our match with Pirates, we cannot say it was a beautiful match in general. It was a very competitive match. It's another thing, but with a lot of tactical things happening during the match. But if you think about, if you take out the goals that happened from both sides, that all of them were quite beautiful. And you looked at the statistical side of the game, it was not the best, the most beautiful game to be looked at. But it was very competitive, very interesting. So football has other dimensions rather than also the statistical side of it. So that's what I expect also from this match.
And Coach, we'll take the last two questions.
Coach, good afternoon. I'm just looking at the bigger picture of things. The Champions League is fast approaching. We'll be there very soon in our stages. Are you happy that this team seems to be sort of peaking at the right time, leading into the Champions League group stages?
Yeah, I totally understand that yourselves, you look at the big picture, but I hope you also totally understand that we don't have time for it, and we don't worry about it. We just worry about managing the next match. And football is so quick that you just need to look at the day after, and the day after, so that you try to control as much as possible what's in your hand. Champions League is a very far challenge for the moment for us. We have a very important Nedbank Cup with Sekukuni again, which is always a very difficult team to play against in 1 week. And we have PSL matches that all of them, despite whatever opponent, home or away, will be always very tough to play. So when the winter break arrives, the national team break arrives, then eventually is a moment to look on the moment, where we are on that moment, where we'll be, let's say, the availability of the players who will have with us, then check how the players will come from national team, and then, yes, start to think about these games on the Champions League. Before that, I don't really worry about that. Yesterday was a very important championship match in Tunisia between Esperance and Etoile du Sahel. I just know the result. I don't even worry about what happened there, and I don't care. We'll have time for that. I need to worry now about Kaizer Chiefs, and then again next trip to Durban, and then the Nedbank Cup, and then Amazulu, and then Pirates. So a lot of things to think, and quite challenging. So let's go step by step.
Thank you, Coach. Last question. You can have, okay, we'll take two, okay, have the last one, you can come to, because I recognize them.
Okay, good day, Coach. Chabalan from Mamelodi Sundowns. Coach, maybe someone might say this question is a derogatory question, but I believe that I have to ask it. Sundowns have played almost 19 games and maybe they've lost 2 or 1 game. According to our assessment, I see Sundowns as the dominant team in the Betway Premiership. So my question is, what makes Sundowns so dominant in the Betway Premiership? Is it because maybe of the quality of players that you've acquired or have? Is it because of your tactics? Or maybe is it because the standard of the PSL teams, they are lower of that of Mamelodi Sundowns? And the motive I'm saying that if you are able to beat 2 teams that are competing for the CAF Champions League and the Confederation Cup, which is Orlando Pirates and Sekhukhune United, which are third on the log, I have to ask that question and say, what really makes Sundowns so dominant in the team, I think, in the league?
Thank you very much for your question. I understand the question. I can really understand the question, but I don't want to be pretentious at all, because it's not the way I live life in general. And I need that. What I would like to answer to you is that we need to prove ourselves every day. We need to prove ourselves every day, and every match has a different story. For sure, Nedbank Cup match against Sekhukhune will be another story. Whatever will be the outcome of it, we'll have a different story. Next game we're going to play Pirates, it will be for sure a different match, whatever outcome comes from it, whatever it is. So it's just respecting the process that leads to the moment where you compete, and the high level of energy and concentration and quality in the moment you play that allows you to cope with the level of the opponents. No, PSL teams are not weak. They are not weak, believe me. The teams have quality, there are quality players. It's been quite challenging every match. Been quite challenging. I don't remember to sit too much or to be relaxed on even yesterday there's a moment when we suffered the second goal. I look at my assistant, we were planning to substitute players, and I tell him, shit, now that I wanted to relax a little bit, we can't. You just can't. So full concentration on helping the players, because you can be winning by 2, but if you suffer 1 goal, the energy that comes for the opponent, because they grab that energy highly with the hands, and they want to challenge us and to go for the game. So it's a 90-something minutes of full energy, full concentration, full management of the context. And then in the end, okay, whatever happens, you close the door and you go for the next one with big respect for the next opponent. So that's how you build something out of life, is waking up every day. And that's how today I spoke. It's not important the name, but I spoke during these last 2-3 days with 2 players that are not playing so much. And because both of them, we exchanged some messages regarding their situation, what to do, what they could do. And I just told them, please, just wake up every day thinking that you can make something out of your life in order to change something. And we ourselves, whatever happened on the game, we should always wake up with that energy. So that's how I wake up today, thinking about, okay, what we saw yesterday, let's go, let's move. And then I even send one message from my assistant, why you are not here, I'm already here. Something like, please, let's move, because it's also my job to make people go and believe but with the right level of tension, with the right level of satisfaction, with the right levels of pleasure, with the right levels of positive energy, with the happiness, with the smiles, because people can be motivated not just by this is not a horse or a donkey that you need to bite for it so that he walks on. No, it's people. You need to relate with people and just make them understand the way they want to go. And this is also something that I really praise and has been totally excited in South Africa, the way people relate with each other. Because you don't need to push no one. People accept it. Just so polite, educated, and so focused on the development, on what they want to achieve, that it's been so... That's why I come every day, yes, with pleasure to work. Because the structure itself is ordered by the family to be like that. So it's also the values of the family that are clearly inside the club, that I totally share, and that the players already have inside of them. So I just need to put it going on. And that's it, nothing more than that.